Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the BG Show. We are here to do a spoiler review for Black Adam, the new DC movie. I hated this fucking movie. I don't know about you. Fuck.
Yeah, it wasn't good.
I'm so disappointed. This is a spoiler review, so if you haven't seen it, this is your spoiler warning. Go see it. We're just gonna dive right in. 3, 2, 1. Okay, Superman is back. He came back in the post-credit scene. That's the lone bright spot. Thank God they got Henry Cavill. I think David Zaslav, the head of WB or someone was like, "Fuck, this movie sucks. We got to get Henry Cavill in at the end post-credit scene." I mean, fuck.
The movie's 2 hours long. You could really.
It felt like it was 4 hours long.
Yeah.
Right? I kept checking my phone. So first of all, if The Rock ever watches this, I love you, The Rock, but I'm a big WWE fan. I remember when he won the WWE title at Backlash in 2000 at the pay-per-views, just to prove that I'm a real wrestling fan for people who say I'm not. And, I still think there's potential for him in the role. So it's not him in the role is good, and it's not all on him, but this movie was such a letdown. I thought it would be 2 hours of straight action, right? He would break. We've already seen the beginning, right? I thought he would break out in the beginning, and then they would kind of fight, and eventually they would kind of team up.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought I'd be entertained at least. And this movie was so dull. So let's start with the beginning. Sorry, I'm ranting, but I just have to. We don't see him for at least 15 minutes, right?
Yeah.
The beginning of this movie, we're just with randos. I don't even know how to describe it. Randos. Sorry, we have a friend, his girlfriend Taylor's off screen, so I'm going to be ranting at her too. She hasn't seen it. Randos. I'm telling you, they have fucking randos. I don't know who these people are. They're not famous actors. They're not even and they are looking for him, right? So the movie starts out 5,000 years ago, and we've seen this. This is what DC does. How many times have we seen this backstory, right?
Yeah.
At Comic-Con, at DC Universe, at all this bullshit. And they're going through the backstory. I'm like, okay, this is okay, right? Mm-hmm. It was okay. But it just went on and on and on and on. And I'm like, how long is this backstory? And then, okay, he kills it. It was so confusing, right? I'm like, the son gets killed and he doesn't get killed? Mm-hmm. But I'm like, wait a second. In the trailer, The Rock himself specifically said, my son got sacrificed. We already know his son dies because he said it to us if you've been following this movie. And then we eventually come to modern day, and this is what I'm talking about. These randos are now looking for him, and I'm like, where the fuck is The Rock? Where is The Rock? What is going on here? And if it was 2 hours and 45 minutes, there'd be some time to waste. But this movie is only 2 hours and 4 minutes, and they're in a temple and they're looking for him, and you know where it's going to get to because we've already seen the trailer of him breaking out. So it's we have to watch this entire extended sequence of these randos just to see them uncover. We have to watch all of this just to get to The Rock being uncovered. So that's my initial rant. You start. You can say.
The Rock, I felt The Rock was wasted in this role, right? He's so charismatic. He has the best smile ever. He doesn't actually smile in this movie. He the whole movie, he has angry face Rock.
There's a cat in the background, just ignore it. Yeah, he is agreeing. Or she's agreeing. She's agreeing. Yeah, he's so clunky. We'll get into the other characters, but he's supposed to have he doesn't use an accent, which I think was a mistake. Yeah. Usually I'm don't use a shitty accent, but he's supposed to use an accent. They have the classic Middle Eastern filter on the screen the entire movie. It looks like someone just took a bottle of mustard and fucking splattered it on the screen. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
In every single movie, and it's a stereotype, and that's you think in 2022 they wouldn't do it. Whenever they're in the Middle East, in Egypt or in a made-up country, there's always an orange or yellow just to let you know we're abroad and we're in danger. And this was the entire movie they did this, and that was surprising. Let's get into the other characters. And I was so excited for Pierce Brosnan in this role. First of all, they fucking killed him.
Yeah.
One and done Dr. Fate. What are you doing? How can you one and done Dr. Fate? You can't guarantee Pierce Brosnan will be back. Okay, why do you have to kill him? For some emotional scene at the end? Who in the movie theater is oh my god, Dr. Fate died? I'm crying. Fuck. And then I knew this would happen. They nerfed every character because The Rock has to just kick everyone's ass, right? So Hawkman is just getting thrown around like a rag doll this entire fucking movie. Like, they don't even define his powers. They don't even say where it's from, right? Hawkman is from another planet, right?
They don't define any.
They don't define anyone's powers. They have Adam Smasher, who the Jewish scene, which so they say his name is Adam Roth, not Arnold Rothstein, Adam Rothstein, something Rothstein. And just in case you didn't pick up that he's Jewish, you know, with his last name being Rothstein, they have him FaceTime his uncle, who's the Fonz from
Henry Winkler.
Henry Winkler, and basically just tell him act like an old Jewish guy.
Yeah.
Like, that's basically what he does, and he starts talking like in a really Jewish voice just to like reinforce like, hey, we have a Jewish character here. And like that's literally what that's how I interpreted it is. I'm not offended. I just thought it was stupid. Fuck. And then also they had him so he wears a mask that looks exactly like Deadpool's mask. Right?
Yeah.
He looks which is fine, but then they also have him cracking sarcastic humor. So not only do you have him look like Deadpool, you have him also making jokes like Deadpool, and then you have him get really, really big like Ant-Man. And Ant-Man also makes jokes. So they have like, and even if this is all comic accurate, you have to live in the environment that you're in, and the environment you're in is that the movie audiences are going to know those characters over this character, and they're going to think you're copying them.
I mean, it felt so much like they were trying to copy the Avengers. Like, the JSA is not the Avengers.
It's not the Avengers. I thought it was a really creative idea because it was like, how do we add characters without kind of getting... You can't have, obviously, Wonder Woman, like Jason Momoa, they're not going to be in this movie. So it's like, let's kind of put this other team together, which, let's be honest, makes no sense. If Black Adam's showing up, they're sending Superman. Why would she not send Superman first? Or Wonder Woman, or Aquaman.
Yeah.
So, I'll accept that. Okay, fine. This team that... What is Pierce Brosnan doing? What is he doing this entire movie? He's flying on a jet. He's walking. He's tired. He's acting like a bitch the whole movie. He's not in the Tower of Fate, I think it's called.
Yeah.
Which is the coolest part. They don't even use him well.
Like...
They don't use him well at all. It's terrible.
They don't use any of the characters well, right? Like... Why does Hawkman? Why does he have a jet? He can fly.
What are they doing? And then I don't. It was terrible. I literally was in disbelief in the movie. Fuck. Oh, I was gonna say. So like when you're watching, I don't want to say because I'm a DC person, so I'm not even saying this like, oh, Marvel's better. When you're watching like a Doctor Strange movie, and he's like kind of levitating in the sanctum. Mm-hmm. It's cool. That's kind of like his domain. But why didn't they do the exact same thing for him? Like, why wasn't there a scene where Hawkman showed up to the tower? And he has... In the animated movies, he has, like... I don't know if you've seen them. Dr. Fate has, like, a levitating tower that's invisible. And he just, like... There's not even a door on it. You just kind of, like... He, like, summons you and you just kind of, like, appear. And he has the helmet. And it's like, they didn't do any of this. They kind of just made him, like... Kind of, like... His best move was when he, like, turned himself into 50 of him. Which is what Doctor Strange did in Infinity War.
Are you talking about Hawkman or Dr. Fate?
Sorry, Well, they both did it.
Yeah.
Because they just kept doing the same fucking move. It was like in a video game when you only have one move. They just kept doing the same move on Sabak because that's all they had. Then they kept doing the same move. Like, let's turn into 50. They did it like 4 times. And then let's talk about the slow-mo. Literally, like 30% of this movie is slow-mo. How many times did they do it?
Enough.
Wait. And then they had these two. I can't believe how much I didn't like this movie. They had these two. They had these two musical cues where The Rock is about to fight, and then he goes into slow mo, and it turns on a song that you're not expecting at all. Like you're expecting like an action song, and it turns on like Western. Yeah, see. Almost like a Western kind of...
Like the...
It was terrible.
Yeah, the Clint Eastwood movie.
Yeah, and then they have this terrible drama with this... The wife and the son. Is that supposed to be his like modern day wife and son? What is that? Are they reincarnation? But it's like, we already have this kid thing in Shazam, which is like the adjacent movie. Mm-hmm. So why do I want to see this other kid... giving this dumb speech? What is that? Why is that?
That whole arc was not necessary, really. Like, we don't need to see normal Joes in this movie.
It reminds me of Godzilla when you're watching a Godzilla movie, and then they keep cutting to like in the last Godzilla movie. There was a storyline about the divorced parents. I'm like, you got to be kidding me! Like, I'm watching a Godzilla movie and they're talking about divorce. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? What is happening here? And so this is what they're doing in this movie, where like all I want to see is The Rock doing cool shit, and Pierce Brosnan doing cool shit, and Hawkman doing cool shit, and they have this stupid plot about like the Middle East and occupation, and it's like, oh my god, what is going on here? And I thought it was hilarious that there's a scene where like a statue of The Rock gets toppled over, and he rescues it just in time because, of course, The Rock wouldn't want a statue of him being destroyed. But I had so much confidence in the movie because The Rock is so arrogant. It's like he doesn't even want to put out a bad movie. So I'm like, at least if he wants to make himself look good, I'll benefit from it because I'll get a cool Black Adam movie out of it. You know, at least I'll get that benefit.
Yeah.
But it was so clunky. I don't even know how to. I thought this was. It's not. It's worse than Batman vs Superman easily. It's worse than Man of Steel easily. It's worse than. I think it's worse than the original Justice League, the Joss Whedon Justice League. I really do.
Yeah. I mean, like,
it's worse than Wonder Woman.
I just didn't care, right?
Barely better than Wonder Woman 2.
Yeah.
Barely.
I just didn't care because there was no story. It was just 2 hours of action. So you never really developed you never really cared about the characters. So like
literally, Hawkman, he spawned. He like kept respawning.
Yeah.
Like he'd get his ass kicked and he'd be like, "Oh, hit the respawn button." Hawkman must have gotten finished 9-10 times this movie. Literally.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's like, Hawkman, you cannot beat Black Adam in a fight. Stop trying to fight him.
And at some point he was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna lose this fight."
Yeah, and like I thought Cyclone was cool in the beginning, but then she just kept doing the same thing because it's all she can do. Where it's like they slow mode her and they started putting the green shit in front of her, and she just kept. It's like that doesn't do shit.
Yeah.
And
it was just a team of supporting characters.
Yeah, and then I mean when they kept jumping out of the plane, that was cool. I like when like they do that, but it was so clunky. The writing was bad, right? I'm trying to think. The lines just weren't good. What else am I thinking of? So they have the randos. Oh,
the only good thing about it is the CGI.
The CGI was good. But the villains, it felt like a 90s movie. Like a 90s superhero movie. Or like an early 2000s. We were watching it. I'm like, this isn't crisp at all. Like, this is just very... It's like the generic bad guys. Those are the bad guys. Generic muscles. Like muscle... Are you kidding me? Those are the bad guys. I thought even the scenes where he's flying were kind of clunky.
Yeah,
his flying wasn't great. Like, when you think about it now, you're like, oh, Henry Cavill's flying is way more believable. I don't know if it's, like, the way he's moving, but The Rock was just, like... He was just kind of like, this is what he was doing when he was flying. He was like, what do you... Like, fuck. I can't... It was bad. Like...
It wasn't good.
And I can't believe they killed Dr. Fate. I mean, I want to see these characters again. If there was ever, like, a big DC team-up movie. But...
No.
I'm trying to think. So Henry Cavill comes in at the end, and do you think it'd be better if they just if he was just in Shazam 2, if that was his first appearance before this movie?
Henry Cavill?
No, The Rock.
Or
should it
yeah,
be...
I mean...
Oh, sorry, yeah.
Yeah, like, I was surprised they didn't make that connection, right? They had the wizard guy. They should have had The Rock in Shazam.
They put it, and The Rock obviously didn't want to do that because he's hugely arrogant and it was so... I don't even know, like, how do you even bring him in now, right? Because he's supposed to be an anti-hero.
Well, he was always an anti-hero.
So, like, what do you even do with him? Because he's going to be in the Justice League. That's what The Rock wants to do now. He wants to be in the Justice League. That's what he thinks.
It's so weird, right? Like, Shazam 1 had Superman, and then now
You're gonna
Black Adam has Superman.
You're gonna put him in the Justice League when you haven't even put Green Lantern in, and you haven't even established a Justice League.
He's not gonna be in Justice League.
What I'm saying is, place in the DC universe makes no sense.
Yeah, I mean, like, you're assuming that they actually have a plan.
He just worked with the Justice Society of America, right? He's been established at least as a neutral guy. So the entire his arc, like the peak Black Adam story, is him fighting Shazam and Superman.
Right.
There's no way they've established him being powerful enough to even fight Superman 1-on-1, let alone him and Shazam 2-on-1. I don't think so.
No.
I think he was kind of soft in this movie. So I'm just saying, how do you even get to that point? I guess, like, okay, him and Superman could fight there, but the movie was so clunky. I can't believe the intro. I can't believe it. I can't believe The Rock would have a movie. It was like I was watching almost like an HBO series. Like, I'm like, it was so weird. It was. I'm trying to think what else. What else happens?
It was just action scenes all over. It was 2 hours of action scenes, man.
Not even.
Nothing happened.
I wish it was 2 hours of action scenes. It was like the fat guy, the
brother.
Oh my god, the brother! Like the comedy relief didn't make the comic relief wasn't good.
It was like they took a Marvel movie. They took what the makeup of a Marvel movie and just like threw everything against the wall to see what stuff.
I can't believe The Rock, like, this was the movie he came up with. I thought the trailers made it look so much better. I thought that the trailers were like, I thought the first trailer was good. It was like one of the trailers was good, and I just thought they were gonna show up, they were gonna fight, it was gonna be cool. They were gonna do none of the Dr. Fate shit was cool, and then he died.
You're really hung up on that.
You really are betrayed by this.
Yeah.
I mean, because he's so cool. If you watch the animated movies, he's beating people's ass, like he's kicking the shit out of people. And he's an old character. You know, Dr. Fate was from the 1940s.
He was like one of the first DC
yeah,
characters.
he's old. He's like pre-World War II. He's really old. And this is his first. Oh, sorry, no, he was in I didn't watch it, but I know he was in Smallville, or I think he shows up in Smallville, which is like almost disrespectful. But this was like his first reel, and they got Pierce Brosnan to do it, which was like, that was when this movie got serious juice. When they're like, not only do we have Dr. Fate, we got like the best possible casting, in my opinion. But
maybe
just to kill him, like he's a character that's like so hard to kill too. Like, it's like killing Doctor Strange. Like, it's so hard to kill him, you know. And the villains. Let's talk about Sabak, who I thought. Did you ever see Titans?
No.
So Titans had Trigon as the season 1 villain.
Okay.
And the CGI was terrible, and like the CGI was better, but I'm like, oh my god, not another like devil kind of villain. I'm like, him, Mephisto, like any of them, I hate when that's the villain. It's so generic.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't care if it's comic accurate. It was just so like.
Even the Justice League.
Just watch out, because it could.
Yeah. Even the Justice League, there was that devil villain, right? What's his name?
Oh yeah, Steppenwolf.
Yeah, Steppenwolf.
And it's like, oh my god, because it's like, once you establish who's stronger, the fight isn't interesting at all. So once you establish Black Adam is stronger, it's like, okay, well, he's gonna win the fight. There's no,
Right.
So, and that guy, the entire movie, Ishmael, whatever his name was, I'm like, this guy's so annoying. Like, clearly he's the bad guy. He just kept popping up. I'm like, what the fuck is with this guy? But it just was so clunky. The Rock should have started the movie either in the flash. It should have started with The Rock. It should have just got to the flat. It should have cut directly from the flashbacks, from the opening flashback thing to him being uncovered in the tomb. And then he gets uncovered in the tomb. Instantly, the Justice Society goes at him. They fight. He kicks their ass. Maybe Hawkman, after getting his ass kicked by himself, then recruits the other guys. They go back. They fight again. Then we see their other powers. Like, there was no build up to the coolness of their powers. There was no like, you know, when they did. It's a different thing when like they made Civil War. Like, there was that whole scene where he went to Spider-Man's house. Like, that was the whole scene. Then there's the whole scene where
No, but they didn't even try to do any storytelling in this.
oh yeah, and then they
movie,
didn't even get
so
into. They just briefly.
point.
They always do this in DC where they give you the brief intro to the character, right? With Amanda Waller, where she does like. Oh, and by the way, the Peacemaker cameo. I forgot her name. Something from Peacemaker, the blonde.
Yeah, yeah.
So she's in this, which like I did pick up, but I mean, Peacemaker's way better than this. But yeah, they just do the intro thing where like Amanda Waller gives the intro.
Yeah, with
This is this character abilities. This like they do. I'm like, oh, so if it's for the audience. So if the audience is a casual fan, they don't know the abilities. They just I'm like, oh, that's so weak. Let's show the abilities. Like imagine watching a Superman movie and like they'd be like, oh, this is Superman. He can fly. He can do this. You can like fuck. So yeah, I'm trying to think of what else I can talk about. I mean,
I
knew it was-
think you ranted enough, man.
yeah, I think I ranted enough. I mean, R.I.P. Dr. Fate. I can't believe it. I mean, I could believe it, but I still can't believe it. Hawkman is like, he's like Professor. He's like gonna be in a wheelchair at this point. I mean, I've never seen someone get beat up so much in a movie in my life. Yeah, I mean, I still want to see these characters in future movies, but I mean, it is what it is. But I don't think it's a good look. I mean, they cancel. Not that I think it's a big deal, but they cancel Batgirl and they bring out this piece of crap. But I haven't looked at Twitter yet, but I think this movie's good. I can't believe all the blue check marks too were saying such good things about this movie. Unlimited action, amazing scenes, blah 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 blah. I remember, like, I didn't look at spoilers, but I remember seeing it, and I'm like, oh my god. But I do not think that he was in the original plan. Do you think that they added this Henry Cavill scene after he got booed at Comic-Con, after The Rock got booed?
Yeah, I was surprised that Henry Cavill showed up.
I think that was not part of the original plan, and that was an added-on scene, 100%.
I believe it.
There's not even, like, The Rock and Henry Cavill were not in the same place at the same time, because it showed The Rock like this way, and then it turned and showed Henry Cavill. It wasn't like they were like together.
Yeah.
So,
can we just talk about how awkward that scene must be? Like, Henry Cavill's like 5'7". He's a short man.
oh yeah.
And then The Rock is like.
Well,
6.
I actually thought that about Henry Cavill. I thought that, and then I think he's like closer to 6 feet.
Is he?
I thought the same thing for a long time.
Okay.
And then, but The Rock would tower over him. Yeah, The Rock is like 6'5", 6'4".
Yeah.
He's definitely bigger. I think Henry Cavill's like 5'11". I don't know why I thought that too. Someone said that, or it was like a thing. But, trying to think. But yeah, I mean, it's gonna suck for The Rock that's gonna be the highlight of the movie. Like, even in our theater, that's when everyone was cheering.
Yeah.
And people knew it was coming too, because why else would people be staying in the credit to the DC movie? Pretty much everyone stayed, right?
Oh, at this point, you have to expect there's some.
But even in Marvel movies, people leave. Like, indeed, you know.
Not really. No.
No? I always see people leave. I don't know. I guess it depends on the theater. But, all right, that's my rant, guys. I'm sorry. Sorry, Rock. You're still the man, Pierce Brosnan, if you ever watch this. But I can't believe they killed him. You know what's hilarious is that Pierce Brosnan never died as James Bond.
I mean,
But they fucking kill him as Dr. Fate when he has superpowers.
I'm more surprised that he kept the helmet off so much. Than he was more times the human version than Dr. Fate.
Yeah. Yeah, he was...
He was more Kent than Dr. Fate.
He wasn't doing shit. He wasn't doing anything. Where's his tower? Like, the same move over and over again. Like, turning into 50 guys. Like, we got it, man. Where are your other moves?
I'm so betrayed.
Putting up those whack shields.
It'll be all right, man. Go watch Young Justice.
Yeah. On the animated... Well, don't even get me started on Green Lantern and the animated stuff. But... All right, guys, that's our review. Thanks, Richard and Taylor, for the off-screen stuff. And
The Cats.
Yeah, the Cats. We'll be back reviewing. I have my House of the Dragon finale review coming up this Sunday night. Black Panther 2 is, maybe we'll probably do Black Panther 2. That's coming up. So thanks again, guys, for watching. I'm sorry. I look forward to this movie for 15 fucking years, since 2007. And as you can tell, I'm pretty disappointed. But I always have to keep it honest. Unfortunately, I just was not a fan of this movie. But hopefully they can improve on the next one. Whatever comes out, I'll be there to watch it. So thanks again for watching, guys. And bye.